Do you feel comfortable?
I feel amazing.
All right, I'm set up. In other words, for this video interview.
You are set up for a video interview, bro.
Sorry it took so long. What do they call it? A hot mess. I am a hot mess, Mike.
You're less of a mess than what I remember.
Less than a mess than you. Oh, man.
You're a dad, man. You're a dad times two.
Yep. God has blessed me beyond my wildest dreams. That is the truth. Let it be known. Let it be known, brother. God is restoring me to sanity, Mike, so I can better do his will.
There you go. That's beautiful.
I seem to give him a hard time, but
You threw out a soundbite today too. You said, God's finally got me, and I was like, you said that. You said God's finally got me. I'm like, oh my God.
God's bringing out my best, Mike. Right now, right here and now.
Cool. Bring it out.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to be here. I didn't know what time we would be able to hook up today, but I'm really glad that we're on together right now.
Me too. Here, I'll give you my eyes. You don't have to look to me through the glasses.
No, you could try the glasses on. I've seen you. Remember, I've watched many videos, so I've seen all kinds of looks on you. I guess I've seen you more than you've seen me.
Definitely. I've not seen you. You've updated my file. My JList file got significantly updated just now.
Yeah. Wow. So big things are happening for you.
I got to be honest with you. Big things have always been happening. I don't know. I'm one of those believe it when I see it kind of thing. Everything is potential, and I'm cool with that. I really am. I'm cool with that. I don't have aspirations to be famous.
So. No reason to.
Right.
You're already famous.
There you go. I am in the world of J-List.
You've been famous since I met you.
That's it.
Mike, and do I need to review how I met you?
Go for it. How did we meet?
Mike, here's how we met. I was having lunch, ordering. Well, the very first time, I'll take it back. That was when I reconnected to you. My first time seeing you, Michael, was at the talent show, sitting with a bunch of my friends that we were all about to graduate in chiropractic college, and the talent show was for the first quarter students coming in that we got to really enjoy. And you were headlining, what was it, Mike and the Blueberries? What was the name of that band, Mike?
The Traveling Blueberries, and then we did Mike and the Spinettes. But I think you did the Traveling Blueberries.
I thought you were the Traveling Blueberries, and I missed the name when you got announced. I probably was talking to my neighbor there. So once you were jamming, there was a certain point during that set that you caught my eye, and I couldn't really stop admiring you jamming on that guitar and singing, and just your energy was off the charts. And I started hitting my friend with an elbow and said, "Look at this guy! Look at this guy over there! He is cooking, and look at his heart, man! His heart's screaming." And that's what was legitimately speaking to me at the time. And you stuck out like a sore thumb. And I could just remember at the end of the set, I just had to excuse myself from my friends and walk up to you and introduce myself. I believe I did. In my own mind, that's how I somehow see it, that I came over, introduced myself, said hello, and just thanked you, and made some kind of compliment, saying how much I enjoyed the music and the band. And you particularly were cooking, and God bless you, and it was great. I don't have any clear recollection of any words, but that was the big picture of that experience for me. Now, do you remember the words?
Yep, I do. It was "Handle Me with Care." We did a spoof on the Traveling Wilburys, and we all dressed as blueberries. I think it was me and Matt Rushford and John Golub, and I love that story. Then I remember running into that little deli on the Roswell Square, and
you had, now that was how many years later, Mike?
Many, because I was in
I met
practice.
you in first quarter.
Right.
So next time you met me, remember me, was you graduated. Right. You were open. Exactly. You were in practice around the corner from me in Roswell.
Around the corner from you.
And that was mind-boggling, because I remember seeing you and doing a double take, total double take, because I was ordering lunch in a place I typically didn't go to too often. It was a critical time. I was in the middle of negotiations for the practice I was in, and I had been there now for quite some time. And you pulled in with a pair of white bell bottoms with the shags on the end and flip flops, and like a tie dye shirt, some dead shirt, some type of shirt, tie dye, definitely unbelievable. And you may have had shades in your hair. Your hair was out like 4 inches, afro mode. Maybe not an afro, but you had a lot of hair on your head, real lot. And you were just like, as if you didn't, it looked like you maybe just took a break from the set. You were playing music. And when I saw you, I said, wait a minute, that guy looks really familiar. and I said, that guy looks really familiar. Hey, I think that's that guy that played the guitar. And there he is. I think that's him. Hey, let me get closer. And then I seen like sparkles coming out of your eyes. And that just kind of like, is this sparkles coming out of this guy's eyes? What's he smiling about? You're the guy that was in the band.
You actually didn't just say you're the guy from the band. You know what you did? You called me Blueberry. Hey, Blueberry.
Yeah. Hey, Blueberry. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I definitely lost some brain cells.
Remember now that I'm reminding you that you called me Blueberry?
Yeah, called you Blueberry. And that was the beginning. That was a new beginning right there.
I remember you coming to get tuned up, and I remember to me that was everything. And you came in, and I got to work on your body because I invited you, and you came, and I love that. That was one of the best moments, was tuning you up and just watching you get so turned on. That was pretty friggin' cool.
And then most certainly, I was taken, I was in awe walking into your office. So unlike my own. The flavor, the office, the whole place was just great. The warmth, the uniqueness, the creativity. You had all kinds of creative stuff happening on the walls, just the way you put it all together. You brought the feng shui energy in that I really had no understanding of at the time. Feng shui this, feng shui that. Just like, walking in there was I knew I was in a very different space. And I was really interested, and I was slightly ripped open. And I said, I'm just getting out of school now, though. I have everything I need. I'm prepared. I feel like I've got a lot. I cannot go back, and this is taking everything I've just learned and kind of tearing it down to be very very gentle, so gentle that I couldn't even believe that I would have something to offer in such a gentle manner. So I just had to, I couldn't really fathom that I could learn it that quick and be prepared to go out and perhaps get a job or open up. And clearly I was thinking more along the lines of opening up than getting a job. And my thing was the upper cervical. So
there's a segue, opening up, because you've told the story 1,000 times and I don't have it on tape. So here we go. So,
oh, please.
So we're in Roswell. You're in my office. You've been looking for an office. You haven't. I'll let you tell the story.
No, we're in Roswell for me, and I'm in the middle of a negotiation. I'm buying a practice that I was supported to help grow in fashion, and I'm having some. I think it could have been a little rocky at that time when I met you, as far as it could have been. I may have been seeing things I wasn't aware of prior, and there was a little turbulence happening for sure. I don't have it flat at the moment as to exactly my mindset there, but I don't believe I was out of the office. I believe I was still practicing in the office.
You were still practicing in the office?
It was very tail end. I didn't know I would be out of the office as fast as it did happen.
Let me just tell you, that all happened.
Yeah, how do you remember it?
I remember it because after you did get tuned up and you got really, your whole world really did turn upside down, and you really were like totally into the whole model, and you were looking to really do that model, and you were trying to
And
reconcile.
I was still in the office, yeah. And you said, just do it in the office.
Yeah,
You said,
exactly.
just deliver it. It's already in you. That's right. Because that's what happened. That's how the whole thing spun out of control. And I got opened up. You cut me open. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember walking in the office, your office. Everybody was, there's a lot of noise. People were moving all over these tables. I was really, whoa, is that gonna, is there anything inside me? Oh, just lay down and we'll take care of you. We're gonna take the mask off now.
That was it.
We're gonna take the mask off, Doc. Are you prepared? You're ready for that? I said, absolutely, Mike. Can you please take the mask off? And that's what you proceeded to do. And it was 1 visit, 2 visits, 10 visits, 15 visits. I kept getting up and going, Mike, anything happening? I don't feel anything. Then it was 20 visits. Mike, I don't feel anything, but she's making a lot of noise over there. They're laughing, people are crying, but I don't feel anything. No, you're doing great, Doc. Doc, you are doing great. I mean, really good. Really, Mike? Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be back. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, Doc. And then we got to like visit 32, Mike. And that's when, after probably 29 times, I asked you, how am I doing? And, oh, you're doing great. I feel nothing. And then visit 32, Mike, I think it was 30 something. I broke 30. But the teardrops started coming. Little dribbles. Mike, I think I'm these are tears, Mike. Yeah, Doc, those are tears. I think I maybe I couldn't quite get it out. And it was the beginning of the unfolding of the new edition, the opening up of all things unforeseen, where we still have a conversation today, umpteen years later. And yeah, that was the beginning of 9 months of profuse crying. 9 months of profuse crying, multiple times a day at any given moment. You're cracking the cosmic egg, Mike. You're cracking the shell. And I had no clue. And I knew nothing about this. Oh, and as I was dribbling, you're going to be fine. You're doing great. I think I'm crying. And then I had left and drove away that day, and I said, when was the last time I cried? Like I couldn't connect to crying. I couldn't connect to sadness or crying. That was the big thing. At the end, in retrospect, looking back, I could not touch sadness or crying, particularly, crying. There's no way. You just don't cry. I don't cry. Rarely do I cry. Never. And I was led down that road where the crying dominated me. Oh my gosh. Never going to forget this part of my life. But
You left quite a mark on all of us. I got news for you. A lot of people that knew you back then won't forget it either. I got to tell you. You're quite an animated individual. Your process wasn't anything that you really did intimately. Like your process was shared openly with everyone.
Mike, I trusted you, so I was just trusting the process. As I was fighting it, I was trusting it.
So I got to tell the story
Everyone
about
that may have been in my life and your life at the time.
You were in the first Catalyst class in 1995. You actually brought Tenosi to me on guest night. I don't know if you remember that or if you even knew that.
I told him about you. I said, you got to meet this guy. Mike, I'm talking to Abenosi. Abenosi, you've been with me all along the ride. We're very close. You're not going to believe this, man. You're just not going to believe it. I don't want you to get scared away. Just stay in it with me,
He stayed in it, all right. He stayed in it. So, but I remember we were doing a Catalyst class. It must have been the second class or something. It must have been Kate's house or something like that. And I remember at one point, you were just, he's going to blow. He's going to go. And you just fell and you passed out. And you were on the ground and everybody was like, and we're telling this story. And Abatanose was the person that was just absolutely the funniest line. Avery said, "Weren't you worried?" And Abatanose goes, "I looked at Semeka. He wasn't worried, so I wasn't worried." I just love that story when you went down, and I could tell you were like, you were feeling a lot. Like it was a lot, like more than what your body can handle. Do you remember that?
I clearly remember prior to, going down.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
just remember my patient being there. I had brought him in, and yeah, I mean, we had a full class. It was a great
It
class.
was a huge class.
Prior to that, I just was on your tables regularly, and I was, you would tell me I'm peeling back the layers of the onion. I'm just peeling layer after layer. It was beyond belief. You just put all kinds of people around me, lovers. You put the radio astrologer, number one radio astrologer around me. Then you put another
Lorelei,
astrologer. Then you
Dell,
put psychics around me. Then you put inner child workers around me. You put the regressor himself, the past life regressor around me. Then
Linda.
you put them all around me all together. Then you brought everybody to Big Tom's. And I mean, you were full of
I
resources.
look back on it now, and it's still very, very, endearing to me that because there was an innocence and there was a magic during that time, and I would never trade it for anything in the world ever. But man, do I love where I am today. I love the evolution of the work. It's less theatrical. It's more, to me, it's more integrative. But I'll tell you, that was fun, though. It was fun.
Those were your beginning years,
Yeah.
getting the foundation together.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Catalyst class was amazing. I got to tell you, initially, when we all sat there, we couldn't, what's he got for us now? What possibly could he have for us? After we all thought we'd seen everything in your office. You brought so much to the table in the office, so many different, settings. I mean, I got the idea to go outside and bring the tables outside from you. You would do stuff like that. So that first class was just, Renee was there.
Hmm.
May she rest in peace.
Unbelievable. Yep.
And Michael Crouch and
Mm-hmm.
Abinanosi. And I have a picture of the girl, but I can't name her.
It might have been Sally.
I have a number of manuals. I wrote everybody's name in the manual.
Oh, there
Each
you
class.
go. Yep.
Yeah, the work's probably evolved to places that, well, I see you now, so
Right.
beyond belief.
After Allison passed, I had to go all head in with Catalyst, and then just by going all in with Catalyst, that type 3 with you align the intention to the body and the body to the intention, that just cracked me open into really the education component, making sure these people who didn't have the chiropractic philosophy got the philosophy that life is intelligent, everything happens for a reason, all things are perfect given the set of circumstances that preceded it. And that became such a backdrop for me. It was like, there's something to this. By me withholding this information and just like sharing my love of the philosophy with chiropractors and not telling my practice members, we called them at the time, was horrible. I really felt like, no, these guys need to know. They need to know the story. They need to know the truth. I mean, it totally empowered me and it enlightened me. And so I'm going to do that. And then when you find is that John Q. Public wasn't quite as interested as chiropractic students in the philosophy.
You were unadulterated.
Unadulterated. There it is.
You were regularly unadulterated. And I was always amazed. I couldn't believe the stuff you come out with. The thing the one particular event that set the record straight for who you were to me and how I was going to see you was the particular event when Allison was alive, and you told me to come to that talk you were giving to the students. I may find it interesting. You didn't really go into detail, and I had just seen you in the office handling a lot of women that were about to deliver. And, the topic was, they're just going to deliver unassisted at home with or without you. Either way, it was happening. And it was up to them and timing, of course. but it was just natural and normal. And then of course shared your own story on just how natural it could be. But when I went to the event or the particular workshop you were giving to the students, I was in awe that you were such a believer in the power that made the body heals the body all the time. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I walked away just totally, and I called Abernathy and I said to him, "You're just not going to believe what I just experienced and witnessed. You can't believe the words coming out of this man's mouth." But then the people just were lining up, stepping up to have that experience of natural childbirth, and that told me how committed you were, how ingrained you were. The integrity that you were walking in was just off the charts. I never witnessed it. That's how I had never witnessed that amount of commitment and conviction, coupled with the integrity. You were walking the talk. You weren't speaking with a forked tongue, and no forked tongue. And wow,
I
shown
remember.
up like that my entire life.
I
Even
remember.
now, because I've always inspected to see is this guy human? Does he have not in does he ever have a moment? But not with me. And if you do, understandable. And you shared with me personally that of course you do. You're human. But with me, you've been a beacon of light. You've walked the talk. Your integrity level is just it's such that I once made a remark to you, Mike, if I'm ever crossing over to the other side, you think I could hook up with you right before? Just, a little selfish of me, but, I'd like you to be the go-to guy. For now, I can't see anybody else I'd really like to speak to before I go. If I want to speak. I may not have anything to say, but yeah, I don't even remember the answer, but that, because I was thinking, it could be a little scary going over to the other side. I still don't have that, you know, at the time. I still and maybe even to this day. Although today, no. At the time, I didn't have it. I will say today, you're living right. Any day is a good day to be taken and be hooked back up with your creator. So, and I felt like this for a long time. So, but at that time, I can't say I had this type of clarity and strength and awareness because I wasn't walking in it. I wasn't living in it in all the different aspects. And today there may be some aspects that I'm not, but for the most part, I have clear awareness that when it's my time and he's taking me, I just want to know I left it all on the table. Now, speaking of which, I see you as somebody who's continues to leave it on the table like nobody's business pretty regularly. And that's I admire that. It's the greatest way to live. And I believe that I can learn a lot from you like that. Just so I can be back at that level of production. But I don't think I've ever been at a level of production like you, professionally and personally, because it just seems like you don't sleep. You don't stop creating. And yeah, that must mean you're plugged in pretty heavy duty, which I've suspected all along. I'm complete.
Soon as you said, I knew you were going to talk about that event. I swear to you, I knew it. I knew it because I remember how moved you were. I don't know if you know it, but
I was moved to tears, man.
you are.
I couldn't stop talking about it for a long time.
You were crying, and I loved it.
More than months. Over the years, I'd stop in the middle of my office and start going right into that experience. Throughout the decades, I would bring that experience to my practice, to the people in my office that I was serving, that I was caring for. And I bring you up as somebody, that I just looked up to, that was so committed and showed me, the true power of commitment and 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 just conviction and living it. And it's highlighted. The umbrella is integrity.
Don't you want to have the best relationship with God you possibly can, or life's intelligence, or the field, or consciousness, whatever you call it? And isn't that, there's that saying, if you and God are not close, who moved? So it's like, if you're not close, get a little closer. I mean.
I'm glad you feel like that, and I'm glad you're on the other side of this phone, and I'm glad I could see you again.
Do me a favor. Give me the story of us getting your office. That ended up being my office.
Boom. Now, you had it before. I just had that now. 30 seconds ago, I was going to allude to that. So 30 seconds ago, I was like, Mike, let me just tell you there is a God that I doubted sometimes. And that I look, I'm only human. Or there is a higher power. Or there's something bigger. Because, Mike, it went like this. The person that supported me professionally the most at the time was the man I was working for, and he cut the ties with me. I was going to have to decide what to do, but there didn't seem like a lot of time. And it was within days. I think it may have happened on a Sunday night, Saturday night. I got the word that I'm done. There's no more office to go to. There's no more deal to make. And now it's like, well, what are you going to do with yourself? And all I could think of is, I had just started prior putting my hands on the people, holding the contacts, and in his office. And that's what erupted. That's when things erupted, because, I couldn't put myself in his shoes at the time. I was cut open. I was in a new model, and I no longer had to do 3/4 of what I was doing. And the people were loving it, and the staff was in awe. And I came to you the following day and said, Mike, I don't know what to do. I don't think I can work for anybody. Jay, you probably got to open on your own right now. But Mike, I can't get a loan on my own right now. I have $800 right now in my savings to my name right now with everything paid up. No, well, Jay, you want to open, don't you? You want to open? You're ready to go. You got the goods. You're ready to go this week. I go, yeah. Well, I don't believe so. You think I am? Yeah, I think you're ready. And I was like, Mike, come on, ready to go? Open an office? I got $800. Are you kidding me? No. You want to go look for an office tomorrow, or you want to play around? What do you want to do? I said, Mike, yeah, sure. I think you're nuts. What are you talking about? Oh, you mean like get a real office? Me, I'm going to have my own office, or rent a room somewhere? No, Jay, come on. Wake up, will you? How many times am I going to have to share this with you? You mean to tell me, Jay, everything you've been through, all the people you helped, your own personal growth and development, and you're still doubting that you can't manifest an office? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I think you're crazy. You better understand that. But I'm in. I'm in. And you come on over my place at lunchtime, Jay. I'll have a little while. I got a short lunch break. It's an hour. We'll see if we can find you something. Okay, Mike. Yeah, right. Abinano's. I'm calling Mike Abinano's that same night. He says get this. He says he thinks he can manifest an office for me. I've got $800 to my name, Mike. And I'm not asking anybody for a loan or a penny right now. He says he thinks he's going to, he'll look tomorrow at lunchtime. He says he'll give me an hour. He gets an hour and he's going to give it to me. I said I'll be there. So, yeah, the scoop is I stop by. You're wrapping up. Okay, Jay, let's get on the road. And then, I'm like, what's he going to pull out of his hat now? How's this, newspaper ads, what? Realtors, what? All right, let's just drive around and see if there's any signs. I don't have time to call anybody right now. Let's see if there's a couple signs. There's got to be a couple signs, Jay. Okay, go down this road. Where are you going to go, Mike? Jay, calm down. let's go with the flow here. Let's get in state, get in the flow, Jay. Come on, you keep giving me this interruption. Quiet. So, I think we went. All I recall is pulling up to one place that it wasn't a fit. It didn't work. I don't know if it was a house or what it was. I believe my own experience is we went to one place. I don't know if we went to two. My recollection is the second, okay, that didn't work. It's too much money. It's not going to fit. The second, now I'm like, oh, what's he going to do now? That was 15, 20 minutes. This guy's out of his mind. That's my conversation. But I love him. Jay, let's see what we got. Put on a little Beatles maybe or something. Here Comes the Sun. Something. And then you start singing and you're wearing flip-flops and like white bell bottoms, and you're going out like professionally looking for an office. I don't know, I still probably was wearing a tie and a shirt and pants, looking like respectable, and you look like a hippie, man. It was amazing. So we pull in to where I ended up having my first office, which was probably one of the smallest offices in the world at the time, as we would say later, but Highway Hotel, right off the main drag. You'd never notice it was there in a million years. Fluid community, Roswell, Georgia. You pull in, and you're looking around for some bait, and there's the sign, little for sale sign in a window of a place that looked like a Highway Hotel, like the little one-roomers, like kind of one level, L-shaped, run down, leaves and no manicure. I had just left an office that was built for me, in an exclusive neighborhood that was just, it was like a dream. It had to be 2,500 square feet, 2,000 square feet, brand new, 6 rooms. It had it all. I'm pulling into a Highway Hotel. Hey, there's the number. Call it. Okay. Hi, Dr. J. Dr. J List looking for the person that was going to rent the space. Oh, you're speaking. Oh, great. And the space is for rent. Okay. And you're available to show it. Okay. And the price, 400.
425.
425. See, Mike, 425 a month. Oh, okay. And you're around now? You can show it to me? Yep. Be over there in 5 minutes. My mouth just dropped. Mikey said 425. 425. You remember better than me.
I remember everything. Yeah, I'm telling you, Jay, you were telling me it's too small. I said, Jay, you can expand. Don't worry. You were right next to Molly Maid. You had this over here, and it was.
Oh yeah. Molly Maid's is next to me. It's one room. It's one room the size of It's a 10 by 10 room.
A little bigger than that, but yeah, 10 by 14.
14 with a bathroom, for a miniature guy, and a little closet in between the room. There was like a closet and the bathroom. You had to walk through the closet to get to the bathroom. Jay, that's your office in that closet. That's where you could sit. You could get a little table and chairs, and yeah, and you got tables, Jay. Yeah, Mike, I have the 2 fold up old portable tables. So you get some chairs in here, and look, it's got everything you need. Daylight. It's all windows, and wow. Talk about. I got an office.
You didn't just have an office, brother. You had a following. I was so proud of you.
6 fold-up chairs from Kmart.
I remember, but I also remember, and a lot of the people that were coming to you, I got to see. It was amazing. And they're still coming.
Yeah, I had a following.
You had a great following. I was so proud of you, man. And they followed you, and they loved the new work, and they loved your office, and everybody was like celebrating you, man. Everybody was so happy for you. You had so much love coming to you when you took care of yourself like that. I mean, it was unbelievable. Everybody, there wasn't a single person that said, "Uh-oh." Everybody was so excited for your process, where you were.
It was a miracle. Mm-hmm. It was the impossible becoming possible. just what I had trained on, tried to always believe, thought I believed. But no, there was no way I was going to have an office with $800 in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal went down. He said it's $425 a month, as I recall. You were standing there. Jay, see if see if he'll take half now and half later. He wanted a down payment. You were like coaching me. No, see, who's gonna? It's already nothing.
I think he gave it to you for $375. And but what he told you was, he goes, under no circumstances am I going to get a call every week about repairs. You're on your own. And I looked at him, I said, no worry, we have no problem with that. And I said, Jay, no problem with that. No problem with that. You won't hear a peep out of him.
Oh, that's great.
We went back in plenty of time. We went back to the office. We didn't even use the whole hour. And I'm laughing because you were so believable. I'm like, Jay, we still got 15 minutes, man.
Wow. Yeah.
And we tell the story all the time that we did it in an hour.
And then I told Abinozzi. I called him up immediately after I left your office.
Right.
Mike, I got an office. Smecca found an office. No, he goes, no, come on.
Right around a block from him. I love it. It was the first two places we went to. We didn't have to go very far. We just, yeah.
And that's when things really began. That's when you started to do the work.
Well, yeah, but you've been in process ever since, though, brother. You're still in process. I got news for you, man. You've always been a piece of work, bro. You're packing. There's a lot in there. I mean, first off, I can go on and on, but your connection to theater, the way you got me into doing the work with Booby and all that stuff, where I was over at the Fox and I was even in the band shell one time after tuning these people up. You guys brought me in, or you brought me in, and next thing you know, for Chicago, I'm hanging out next to the drummer during the show of Chicago, because you were so plugged in to so much in the world of entertainment, in the world of just chiropractic. You know, you were involved with the chiropractic organizations. You were so philosophically sound. Like, you were like really the Pied Piper of the community, of the chiropractic community. Like, you were a bridge to so many different docs that wouldn't even be friends if they didn't know you.
I could agree with that, probably.
Oh, absolutely. No, you were definitely the
It's amazing
hub.
how you just said that.
That's true.
I wouldn't even be thinking about it.
Oh, you put these meetings together. We did these philosophy meetings. I'm hanging out with Gary Fish and his wife and Kritzberg and all these people. We're all sitting around. I was like, I would never be hanging out with these guys. I mean, you were putting it all together. You had your feet in so many different worlds, bro, and you juggled it well.
It's far from over, and it was the beginning of it's been an unbelievable journey. Unbelievable. And that's just the truth. And I'm glad that you were in on the beginning of the chiropractic piece and brought me the catalyst work. And, I think everything about this phone call really has come about as a result of the catalyst work, because we wouldn't be speaking right now if you didn't pursue your love. So let me ask you a question. Do you see any roadblocks ahead or walls you may have to hurdle to bring the truth at this point to the masses?
Timing, just the integrity of timing, but I wouldn't call it blocks. If it's time, it'll happen. And if it's not, it won't. I'm not going to compromise on that. It's like, I could get like everybody else and push.
That's never been your style.
And I'm not going to, but I do think, I do see a lot of interest, with Forward Healing and everything that's going with that show. And the fact that we're even doing this video, the reason I'm having to get video for a lot of people is because I really never spent time getting accolades from people, or getting, our patients speak, the testimonials. It's never been my thing. And now that I actually have somebody who's, promoting me and pitching me, everybody wants to know, who's this doc? Who is this Dr. Smecca? Who's this Dr. Michael? And I got nothing to tell them because I've just been like, all my life just in my practice, doing what I'm doing, little guy in a little place in Roswell, and just turning people on and just being really present to my practice. And that's been what it's been for me. I never really went out and went into the chiropractic colleges to teach. I did teach at Life a couple of times, or, maybe more than a couple, with some chiropractic stuff. But for the most part, I stay pretty much low key and just work one-on-one with people, and keep developing my craft through that, through working, being present to people, So no, the answer to your question is no. I don't really see a block. If it happens, I'll be blown away. I'll go with it. And if it doesn't happen, I'll go with that as well. I'll be fine with that as well, But we'll see. I put feelers out. We see, like, hey, I'll come to town and do a little something for your people, things like that, just to get outside the box and just to kind of stir things up. And then, in our day and age, we hear things about going viral, like something's going to go viral. That probably would happen, if, I get on the right platform. Let's face it, Jay, this is one thing that my guy says all the time. I'm saying a lot of things nobody's saying. You know what I'm saying? So I say an awful lot. I'm not shy on syllables, so I got a lot to say. And apparently there's, some value for some people in that. And there's enough some people in the world, my little corner of the world, that, it would do well for me to get outside myself and promote a little more, especially as I get older, and the sand in the hourglass is running down. You sit there and you go, what's your legacy? Well, my legacy is pretty good. It's pretty solid. I feel pretty good about that. But, it'd be nice to get outside myself and meet more people who's in this community who I haven't met because I haven't reached them. My words haven't reached. And, I feel, I call it serving the unknown face. I like to serve these people who otherwise wouldn't have access to this. So there you go. Hope that's a good answer for you.
Traction rather than promotion. You're not a man in my life that has gone out of his way to promote and become and get uncomfortable with that, and you've done it on your terms, clearly.
Well, let me tell you something. You keep taking this as an insult. One time you told me I was a fat. No, you told me I was a fat cat, and you think that now you think that's an insult, and it really wasn't. What you meant by that was that I was satiated and that I wasn't hungry enough to go out and promote. And yeah. I said, guilty as charged. You're like, Shemek, man, everything came too easy to you, man. You're just like a fat cat. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to stress out. I'm not going to suffer from Moore's disease. I've got a charmed life. I mean, I can't pretend that I need more because I don't, because this guy is doing this woman is doing that, this guy is doing this, they're all touring the world, everybody knows about them, and nobody knows about Shemek, I'm like a secret in Roswell, except for some select people. And I'm like, I'm okay with that, Jay. I'm actually, I'm sorry, but I'm okay with that.
I didn't have the answer or the awareness or the interest to take on putting you out on the platform.
Right.
I could barely put myself out there. So yeah, I was in awe that and I had never met anybody that was able to eloquently express that in words. So you were the first, and the first legitimate, delivering it all the time, not just, a little bit here and there. You were always delivering in every way, shape, and form. I'll take that out of the office into your house with your children and staying up and writing music and singing songs and raising your kids to be these outstanding citizens. Tons of energy directed there. So there was a little, for me, a little piece I didn't quite see why you wouldn't want to drive harder to put yourself out there and wait. It was clearly uncomfortable. You didn't want to do
I
it.
wouldn't even call it uncomfortable. I would just say for the versions of me that I've been,
Or it just wasn't in your,
it was values. It was a values call, man.
You
It was
already
rather-
had it going on.
It
I
was a
guess,
values
and
call. I
didn't.
was just like, I couldn't pretend that there was a lack when there really wasn't. The only thing that gets me going is I have to force feed myself that I would be serving others. But I literally got to force feed that. It's not organic for me to think that way. But if I think that I could be helping so many people who otherwise would not be helped with this work, because if I don't get it out there, no one else is going to do it, that motivates me to be a little more ambitious. But even that has a shelf life, you know?
Shelf life.
Yeah.
Where do you come up with this stuff? A shelf life? Let me ask you something. Smack, listen. A shelf life? So you're not jazzed up?
I am jazzed by that, but I'm seeing the same people, Jay, and I'm jazzed by that. I'm jazzed by the fact that my retention level is insane. I mean, you know that. I mean, you've seen. I've inherited your people, and they're still coming. So, it is what it is. I mean, it's hard for me to need more when the greatest compliment are people that return. I mean, that's just as good as it gets. It's the greatest compliment. I mean, we talk about people always talking about businesses. Francis tells me all the time about NBDs, new business development. And I talk about like EBM, existing business maintenance. I made that up for NBD.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, how about existing business maintenance? What about going to your next level and serving these people, loving these people, so there's no room for new. That if you kept doing new, it would have to cut into your family time, or with your kids, or with your sleep, or with your partners, your lovers, Do you really want to do that? I mean, you're pretty busy, existing business maintenance, EBM. I made that up for MBD, because everybody's at the business, they're all obsessed about more. It's like, well, if you're going to do more, why don't you just work on your quality to your existing people? How about more quality to your existing people? How about that?
Mike, you're still delivering to the patients that I met, that I started back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
I met people in 1992, and started caring for them and serving them. And you're still seeing them.
Yes, I am.
And how
Hey,
many
Jay.
years?
Jay, it's been a long time. Just before your father passed. I mean, that's really when you went back. You actually told me on a Tuesday that you were going to take off on Saturday. And I told you, I said, now I know why I didn't renew my lease on Canton. I said, you go, I'll take your office. And I didn't renew my lease. And I just took over the office that I found for you, ended up being my office for many years.
And what separated your office from my office? What was behind my office?
The cemetery with the tombstone that said Grace, that stared right in your window,
The
man.
historic cemetery in Roswell, dating back to the mid-1700s.
There's grace between us, Jay.
Yeah.
The wife's got some dinner out there for me, so I got to run.
Thanks
Love you,
so
man.
much, Mike. Good speaking with you.
Okay, be well.
Talk to you.
Bye.